This chair. It's squeaky. Hi, April. Hi, April. How are you doing? Nice to meet you. Hi, everyone. I'm April, and you're watching the Tangled Cat Speaks. This is episode number 8. My goodness, how time flies. This week went by so fast. Valentine's Day just passed us by, and the beginning of the Ravellenics. So fast. My goodness, it's crazy. So I'm going to start off, since I mentioned Valentine's Day, I'm going to start off with something that just made me so happy. I have the best friend ever. Her name is Jen, and I've known her for many years, and we worked together. And when I met her, she knew how to crochet, but she didn't really do it all that often. She started to pick it up again, and then she wanted to learn how to knit, so I taught her. And she has by far picked it up faster than anyone I have ever taught before. So, and I don't know if that's just because she had a crocheting background. I think for me, when I teach someone, the hardest thing to teach them is how to tension their yarn around their fingers. And she already kind of had that down from crocheting. So she just picked it up super quick. And so now we're always constantly on Ravelry together. We're just talking about yarn all the time. And she knows that I'm on my little yarn buying restriction this year. And Valentine's Day just passed, and when I walked into work, this is what she gave me. Isn't that the sweetest thing? I mean, look how adorable. They're little minis, and they're put together like little bonbons or something. Look at that. Oh my gosh, and look at those colors. I think at first glance, this was my favorite right here. But the more I look at it, I think I'm kind of liking this one and this one over here. Oh, ah! Damn it. Oh my gosh. Where did they go? Where did they go? I don't know. Put the lid back on, because that's dangerous. And she got this from Gnome Acres. And it was their Valentine Galentine mini skein assortment. They even have all of the names of the colors the way that a box of chocolates would. So adorable. I couldn't be happier. I was stunned when I walked in. There's 8 minis and they're 20 yards each. Just adorable. I am super thrilled, and oh my god. I think that these are probably all going to end up in my memory blankets. I don't know. I may use some of these for toes at some point, but I think for the most part, I'm going to throw them in my blanket. Because, you know, one section of my blanket is going to be all BFF corner. Oh, I'm super excited. Look at that, even the names. Wov, Twoo Wov. Do you, like the animal, lurve me? Zombie Kisses, I think that's the one that I really like. And Lovey Dovey, Love Schmub, and then the 2 middle ones. One's Waffles and one's Mimosa. That is just, the names are so cute. You know, and Gnome Acres always has the cutest names for their yarn colors. It's just, it's so fun looking, and like, you don't want to just get any old color. You want to get a color that the name kind of speaks to you along with the color, and Gnome Acres always does that. They always have the best names. So I'm super excited. I got yarn from my best friend, and I love her so much. Oh, thank you, Jen. Oh, so speaking of Jen, I told you I taught her how to knit. Well, she has been jumping into some big projects and some very interesting projects. And one of the things that she tried recently was brioche, and she just whipped right through a beautiful giant cowl. I think hers was, it was either worsted or DK, I can't remember. But the same person who did that pattern did another one in fingering. And that's the one that I was using for, I got it done, for the Ravellenics. I did the fingering brioche, and I did the small size. It's the fingering brioche bandana cowl. Let me flip it over so you can see the other side, though, the pink and gray. Now I did the small size, but I think that it came out a lot smaller than what was meant to. I mean, the minimum yarn requirements on this were like 300 yards, and I only used a total of like 165. I don't know if because I've been avoiding doing brioche for the longest time, and I would see my friend Jen just working on her brioche like nothing. I'm like, she's so brave. And she kept telling me, just do it, just do it. So now that the Ravellenics came up, I did. But I don't know if I was just so scared or nervous or what happened. This thing ended up a lot smaller than I expected. In the photo, it kind of drapes down, the small size even drapes down, you know, like a cowl, you know. This is more like a gaiter. It's really up close to the neck. I'm going to try to put it on for you. Watch, this is going to be interesting. Oh, yay, I did it. Ooh, hair. So see, this, my version came out a lot closer to the neck, which I like. I can put it up under my coat with not a lot of bulk around it. But it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a lot bigger. The only thing that I did do different was I made it shorter. So I think it called, before you start decreasing here, going around and around, it was 46 rows, and I only did, or 46 stockinette rows, and I only did 30. So this part here is a lot narrower than what the pattern called for. But I don't think that that was the reason why it came out so small. I mean, the circumference is a lot smaller than what I expected. And I have a feeling that it was because I was so scared of this brioche thing. Like, I don't know. So it's very small. I still love it, and it's very cozy. It's just not what I was expecting. And I do like doing brioche now. I can't say that I'm going to go run and find every brioche pattern out there and knit everything brioche, but I think now if I come across a pattern that I find pretty or interesting that I want to work on, if it says brioche, I'm not going to be like, nope, moving on. You know, I think I'll do it. So yeah, there's brioche. So this was my first project that I finished for the 2018 Ravellenics in the curling cowl category. So yay, I did it. I got something done. I went and did everything that Ravelry has you do to get to the finish line. So I'm so excited. I got my first project done. I've got 2 more that I'm trying to get done for Ravellenics. The other thing that I've been working on are the socks that I've been talking about that were knit, the Evil Queen socks that were knit down the back, along the bottom, and then up the top. Well, if you've had a hard time wrapping your head around that, I'm going to show you. I am almost done with the first sock. I'm a little more than halfway through the front, and once I finish the front, I will be done. So here we go. This is my sock. This is the Evil Queen pattern by Louise Roberts on Ravelry. This will stretch out right here. This little wrinkle will stretch out when I wear them. It's just because of where the cables started. But look, I love this yarn and how the cables just look so defined. Like, it's just coming out so cool. But you can see I'm working up the front of the sock, and I still got just the back of, or the front of the leg to do. I've gotten up the foot and, you know, to where your ankle is. And then the whole back is done on this other color. Here's my heel. I think that I probably could have made these a couple of rows longer in the toe, but I didn't feel like pulling it back out. So I'm just going to leave it, and they're going to fit fine and just a little snug, which I don't mind snug socks. I don't like my socks to be all loose and wonky. So I am really digging it. So I can't get over the stitch definition in this yarn. This is the Fiddle Knits polka sock. And now that I'm seeing how beautiful cables are turning out, I'm very sad that she's not dyeing any more yarn anymore. It sounds so terrible when you say dyeing. You gotta say dyeing yarn. She's not dyeing yarn anymore. So I'm very sad about that, because the stitch definition on this particular yarn is just gorgeous. So I'm loving it. So it's going to be kind of exciting. I'll get to post something in the Grocery Girls thread as well. So I was going to do it last month, but those socks didn't technically qualify because I was so excited when I pulled my first bag for January that I started them, I think, on the 30th of December. So I didn't exactly start them on the 1st of January, and I didn't want to cheat or anything. I didn't start them in January, so I didn't post them. So I'm definitely going to post these, because I started these on the 9th of February. So definitely within the correct month. So I'm super excited with how these are turning out. She did another pattern, Louise Robert did another pattern that's made, the construction is the same way. The detail on the front is very different. And that one was called Viper's Tongue. I made those a while back, and they are some of my favorite socks. I just can't get over how cool it is that the entire front of the sock is a completely different color. And it's so easy. These things seem to be zipping along so fast. I've got all of this done. I just got to do the front on this one. And I got this, I mean, it just seems to be going along super, super quick. So hopefully I can get this done in the next couple of days if I quit taking random naps. Naps are a thing for me. I love naps. I love, love, love them. So today, my nap incident, and I'm calling it an incident because I did not mean to sleep as long as I did. I went to work for a few hours, and then after work, I went right to the gym, and I got myself onto the stair stepper and the treadmill afterward. So then I got home, and the first thing I wanted to do was lay down. I don't know, or I don't understand how when people work out, the first thing they talk about is they got this big rush of energy. I don't get that. I get just so sleepy, and all I want to do is take a nap. And I knew that I had things to do today. I laid down and I said 30 minutes. That's all you need. And if I sleep more than an hour, I end up getting like waking up kind of disoriented and like a headache, almost like I have a hangover. It's very odd. But I've learned that that's what it is. If it's more than an hour, then I'm going to wake up feeling not so perfect. But today, I got home from my gym and I laid down, and 3 hours later, 3 hours, my goodness, I woke up and it was like I was more tired than when I decided to first take a nap. So I really had to pull myself out of bed. You know, and it was a good thing that my cat was there. Poor Aggie. She just kept staring at me like, I'm starving to death. Wake me up. Wake up, lady. Come feed me. So she got me out of bed. And, you know, I got some stuff done, and here I am. But I love naps. I can fall asleep anywhere. I love naps. So that was my today nap. Whatever. So that's what I did. And then I got up and I worked on my sock a little bit, and here I am. Oh, I got a new setup. That's what I did. I woke up and did my chores and stuff. And last week, and I'm apologizing again. Last week was very wobbly. I got a new stand to put my phone on when I'm recording, and it was very wobbly. Every time I even touched the table, it just kind of shook and the screen jiggled. So I ordered something else, and I actually got myself a little tripod. So it's on the floor, it's not on the table. So I was doing that. I was very excited. I set it up and everything. So I'm really enjoying this setup. It's working out so far. There's no shaking. So that's what I did. I was very excited about that. But I lost several hours in just taking a nap, and I really did not mean to. But if I can stop taking naps, I'm going to finish these socks. That was my point of that nonsense right there. Sometimes I just start talking and I have no idea what I was talking about or why it went there. And then I lose the point. I'm sorry about that. So the other thing that I'm working on for the Ravellenics, and I've showed you this before a lot. This is the one that's my own design. Sorry, everything is tangled right here. What is going on? Was the one that I designed, and I told you I was going to put a knitted on border. So that's what I've been working on, slowly but surely. Why are you there? Oh, that's my needle. Okay. So I've got a knitted on border coming along, progressing. And if you look close, I did throw on a bead at the end of each point. I don't know if you can really see that. So it's coming along slowly but surely, and I was trying to figure out a way to get it to look the same on both sides, and I think I did a pretty good job. There's the other side. So it looks a little bit different on the other side, but not enough to where I would be afraid to wear this the wrong way, you know. So I'm very excited. I'm going to get that done too. I really want to get this done. I have till the 25th at, I think it's 4 in the morning again, is when they have the closing ceremonies for the Olympics. So I have that time. I should be able to get these two things done if I focus. And I've been really good. I've been looking at starting new things, but I haven't actually started anything new. So I really want to get those done. I'm super excited. Yeah, so that was the one that I called Crazy. I was crazy once. That's the shawl that I named that last week. So there was something else that I got in the mail. This is what I got in the mail. I went on to Etsy. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it on here before. I know I've mentioned books a few times, but my all-time favorite novel is a book called Watership Down by Richard Adams. I found that book when I was 10. A friend of mine had let me borrow it so I could read it, and I never gave it back to her. I never did. I don't know why I didn't. You know, I was 10 years old. Probably just forgot. She never asked for it, and then I must have found it again later, because I remember thinking, oh, I never gave this back to her. I was a little girl, and I didn't mean to, but I kept that book for a long time. I read it. I've read this book so much, and I ended up wearing that book out, and I've had several copies since. And I think my next big thing that I want to get for it is a CD version of it, so I can listen to the audio. It's just my favoriteest book, and I was just playing around on Etsy, and I found this bag. It's not technically Watership Down related, but the hair on the front is how I picture the hares, the rabbits on Watership Down. Just so rustic looking, and you know, they're fighters. I really love that book, and I got this off of, I don't know if you could see that, it's a Valhalla Farm, and I think the Etsy shop is called Valhalla Farm VA. She's in Virginia. It's a cute little leather tag right there, very cute. That's the Etsy shop, Valhalla Farm VA, and her name is Summer. It's a nice size bag. I'll be able to fit the beginning of a nice size shawl in there. And the inside is just really cool flower print. And again, it looks almost like a vintage print. And I mean, this book was written in the 70s, I believe. And so this really, I saw this and it really, really reminded me of Watership Down. I actually looked for specifically 4 Watership Down bags, and I didn't find anything. So this was the closest that I found, and I'm super, super, super excited by this. It's just such a wonderful book. I think that that was where I turned from, you know, books with animals that, you know, the animals did things that normal humans do, driving a car, or cooking at the stove, or wearing clothes. And this book, Watership Down, was the first time that I saw animals doing what animals do. They had, you know, they were living under the ground. They were running and hopping and fighting and territorial kind of stuff. And I mean, they had their own, and plus they had their own language. It was awesome. I just loved having to stop and go to the back of the book to where the little glossary was, and you can look up all of the different little words. And oh my gosh, Hazel is just my favorite character. I love, love, love Hazel. Oh, I love that book so much. And Fiver is just too adorable for words. Just, you just want to hug him and take care of him because he's just so scared all the time. But I loved that they had their own language, and it was very similar to when I found, I think Lord of the Rings, you know, they had a lot of their own words and stuff like that. So that was kind of my transition into the grown-up books, you know, was Watership Down, and I absolutely adore it. So that's why I got this. Thank you, Summer at Valhalla Farm, for coming up with this beautiful bag. It's just, I love it. Love, love, love. So now you know I love cats, and I love rabbits, and I love owls. So speaking of books, I had told you a while back that my library has a free cart, and I had been reading The Homing, that's my face, The Homing by Jeffrey Campbell. And I had no clue what this was, and it was very interesting. It was very suspenseful, and it really kept my attention. And I'm not going to really say a whole lot, but it has to do with a little bit of, like, you know, mind control and you know, don't drink the water. It's a conspiracy. Don't drink the water. That's all I'm going to say about it, because if you ever do decide to read this book, that is a big clue. So I'm not going to spoil it if you decide to read this book. It's very, very interesting. It's an older book. It's you can tell, you know, there's no cell phones in the book. Yeah, it was written in 1980. So I almost dropped it. So yeah, there was, you know, it's definitely dated in some of the aspects of it. But it was still a very interesting story, and I loved the whole conspiracy thing going on there. It's really cool. I'm glad that I picked it up. I really enjoy finding gems, hidden gems in the library's free cart. You know, I never would have known if I hadn't have found it, especially because a lot of the books in the free cart are really, really old. So they're not on the popular lists or anything. So that was very exciting. I was a little bit creeped out by it at the end. Don't drink the water. Speaking of, that's what I am drinking today. This is filtered water, so hopefully there isn't a conspiracy going on with this one. So I finished that book, and I decided that I had this book for a while. I decided to start this one. It's by Shirley Rousseau Murphy, and it's called the Cotswold Portal. And look at that one. I grabbed it because my Aggie is a calico, and look at the pretty calico on the front of this book. I know you should never judge a book by its cover, but I did. There's a castle in the back, there's a dragon, and a beautiful calico cat, so I had to grab it. I love dragons too. They're real. They exist. I'm telling you, they do. But the other reason why I got it was because of her, the author. I had read all of her. She did the Joe Gray Cozy Mysteries, which is basically you know, murder sleuth, kind of amateur sleuth kind of thing. And the main sleuth in the book is a cat who is able to talk. It can speak to humans, and he only does so to a certain select few humans, and he has to keep his shenanigans down to a minimum because, you know, he's the one finding all of these random clues that humans wouldn't be able to find, and yet he has to turn these, you know, he feels compelled to give these clues to the police. It's a very cool, interesting, cozy mystery series. There's quite a few of them, but she did that. And there is a section in some of the books, there's a connection, I think it's to this, because they talk about another world where these talking cats have come from. And I'm only a few pages into this book. I'm only 10 pages into this book, and I recognize some of the things that they refer to as this other world where these cats had come from. So it's kind of interesting. It's very much bigger than the other books that I've read by her. So I think there's going to be more in depth, but it's fantasy. I adore fantasy. So very excited to get started on that. It's like I said, I'm only 10 pages in and I am hooked. I'm loving it. So that's what I'm reading right now. Yay. I'm so happy. I've had it for a little while and I finally said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to read it. And that one, again, I found that in the free cart. Her Joe Gray mysteries are much more popular. So it was, for me, a really big steal to find this for free in the library cart. So very excited. Here's a cowl, another finished thing that I made. This I finished in 2015, like November 2015. This is made on Pandia's Jewels comfy worsted base, and the colorway, this is why I bought it. The colorway is called My Little Pony. I adore this so much, and I made it using it was a free pattern, I believe, on Ravelry. Yeah, it was the Diamond Cowl by Aspen Knits. Now there is a story with this. This was not meant to be a cowl. I originally got this because I wanted fingerless mitts. I had knit up a pair of gorgeous fingerless mitts using the daisy stitch, and I don't know if anybody has ever tried the daisy stitch. It is, at least for me, it was so difficult, and it was really a lot of work to get those mitts done. It was a struggle, and I loved them. The colors, just, it was so beautiful. I just fell in love. And not even within a week, I lost one of the gloves. I don't know. I don't know how. I think that I must have been in a parking lot somewhere and it fell out and I didn't notice, because when I got home, and this must have been a couple of days later, because I know when I found the one glove, I hadn't gone anywhere that day or the day before. So it had to be at least a couple of days before I realized. But it was on the floor, or like on this, between the seat and the car door, like the little runner right there. It was there on the side, and I was like, oh my goodness, I almost lost that. So I picked it up and I went to go put it in my bag, and I was like, well, where's my other glove? I never found it. I looked everywhere in that car, like 4 or 5 times. I looked in every purse that I own, knowing I hadn't even carried those purses in a very long time. I looked in there anyway. I looked in the glove box, everywhere. I could not find that glove. And I was literally to the point of tears. I was so upset over it. I was so bummed, so bummed, heartbroken. I put the one glove away, the rest of the yarn that I had left over, I put it all away, and I didn't look at it for months. And then finally, I'm like, you know, you have to get over this, April. You do, because that yarn is so pretty and it needs to be something. And I didn't think that I had quite enough to make another pair of gloves. And I ripped it out. I frogged that other glove, and I came up with this one. And again, it's the Diamond Cowl by Aspen Knits. And I'm glad. I love it. It's you know, at least now it's closer up here and I can see it more, and it's not just when I'm driving, because that's really the only time I wear my gloves is when I'm driving. I mean, I get to wear this a little more out in public and stuff. So it's just gosh, Julia over at Pandia's Jewels just kills me. I'm over here on my yarn diet and she keeps posting new colorways, and I am just so tempted. She is tempting me beyond belief. You don't even know. Oh my gosh, she's got some beautiful colors, and she comes up with some of those cool color names. It just makes you want to just grab those yarns, and oh my god. Oh. So that's why I pulled this one out, because I needed to look at something absolutely gorgeous. And I love these colors. And she's the one who dyed this back here too, the Fields and Pier shawl that I showed you, that was all gray, but it had a little bit of dark teal and purples and blacks up close and far, but you can't really see it from far away. She did that. She's just got a beautiful eye for color. I think that more than half my stash is Pandia's Jewels. That's when I get the most. I originally had been buying almost nothing but 3 Irish Girls yarns, and I love their colors too. Love, 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 love. That's what this one is, 3 Irish Girls. I've got, I would say that another 30% of my yarn is 3 Irish Girls, and the other 20% are just random stuff that I would end up with on Etsy or something that I might have been gifted. But Pandia's Jewels is by far the one that I get the most of my yarn from. I love her colors. I love it so much. So that's that. That's my My Little Pony story. So sad. My mitt. Not even a week, man. Not even a week, and that thing was gone. Lost it. I was so bummed. This week I have been trying to get caught up on some of the podcasts on YouTube that I watch. I am, like I said, I think I'm about 12 or 13, up to 12 or 13 on the Grocery Girls, and I think I'm up to like 15 or 16 on the Hey Sister, and I am now on 16 of Mean Girls Knit. So I'm getting up there slowly but surely, but I don't have a whole lot of time in the day to do all of that. So I'm spacing out right now. Sorry. I was just thinking, what am I going to make for dinner? I just looked over at the kitchen and thinking, what am I going to make for dinner? Sorry. I had a squirrel moment. But so that's those 3 of what I've been watching the most lately. I think I told you all about Josh Reich's Rabinski. I started watching him, and I was so excited to find out that Joji Locatelli has an English version of her. She calls them journals, and I love it. So I'm totally caught up on hers. I've been watching those from the beginning, so I'm very excited. She's so cute. So she's up to episode 3, so I'm all caught up on those. And then lately I started watching I think it's called Emmy Made in Japan, and she just makes all of these odd recipes. And I don't know if you've heard of them. She did the one with she made a Jello mold out of SpaghettiOs. It's really gross. And she finds a lot of these old retro most of them are, I think, from the 70s cookbooks, and she makes them, and then she tastes them and, you know, comments on like, really, this was a thing back then? Like, what happened? What were they thinking? So I've been watching her. She's also done a few of the spicy foods challenges, and so that was, I don't know, I've been watching her. I don't know why I got into her, but that's what I've been doing, so that's interesting. So it's a little bit hard because there's just so many different things on YouTube, and it's kind of like going down a rabbit hole, and there's just so much, and I don't have enough time in the day to watch everything that I want to watch. So I keep adding things to my list, and someday I'll retire and I'll get to do whatever I want, whenever I want. and then I'll be all caught up on everything. Oh, speaking of caught up, okay, I don't have any kind of internet at home other than what comes with my phone, and I don't have satellite or cable, anything like that. So I've been watching Game of Thrones through Netflix, and I don't even have streaming at home. So the way that I've been watching Netflix is, you know, they mail me the DVDs every so often. I just got caught up on Game of Thrones. I was stunned. I was baffled. And I can't believe now we have to wait till 2019 to find out what happens. I know there was a whole lot of cliffhangers and plot twists and everything, but I think the biggest thing for me was the dragon. Like, no, not the dragon. I'm sad. And now the dragons, spoiler alert, sorry, if you haven't, like me, watched it when it came out, like the rest of the world. Oh, the dragon, one of the dragons is now on the bad side, and I'm so bummed about that. So bummed that it's going to be dragon versus dragon, and they're brothers, and oh, it breaks my heart. Oh. So yeah, I need that to hurry up and come along. And then my son and I have been watching, every Thursday we watch How to Get Away with Murder, and that's going to be off for a couple of weeks. I don't think it's coming back till sometime in March, so that's kind of a bummer. It barely just came back in the middle of January. We only saw a few episodes, and now suddenly it's on another mini hiatus. I'm not sure why. I know that Roseanne, the new Roseanne show, is coming back, and that's going to be in that time slot during the hiatus. I'm a little bummed about that. I would rather watch How to Get Away with Murder than watching a revamped Roseanne. Nothing against Roseanne. I used to love it back in the day, but it's not what I want to watch right now. And I'm also kind of bummed because the commercials for How to Get Away with Murder keep hinting at a crossover episode between How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal. I don't really care for Scandal. I know that's wrong. I know a lot of people are probably screaming at me right now, but I don't really care for it. So I'm a little bummed that they're going to be tied in, and I don't know. But either way, I'll be there watching because I absolutely love Viola Davis. Love her so much. So in the meantime, I'll be knitting and getting caught up on YouTube. So there's that. I hope you all have a wonderful week. I will see you next week. And hopefully I will have a couple more finished objects for you, the 2 that I'm doing for Ravellenics. So good night, and I love you. Hi everyone, it's me, April, and you're watching the Tangled Cat Speaks. Ugh. Hi everyone, I'm April, and you're watching, I don't know why I swing my head like that. It was like a giraffe.